you. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited to have you all. My name is Brittany Campbell, and I am one of the lead coaches here at NICE. And you guys are very lucky to be joining the first cohort through JSU. I've worked with a couple of cohorts in the past couple of months, and I can tell you there is a definite advantage to being with a cohort. You're going to receive lots of support from multiple personnel along your journey. And so we're really here for you guys in this endeavor. In the chat, I have dropped a quick Google form, and I'm going to drop it again for people who may just be joining us. So I'm going to do that now. This Google form is just for us to kind of get to know you a little bit. That way we, as your coaches, know what's best for how to reach you, maybe what your subject area is, that sort of thing. So if you wouldn't mind taking a few minutes to fill that out, we would really appreciate it. Just to be sure, because again, technology is always funny. Someone please let me know, of course, if you cannot see my slides. I would really appreciate that. I am going to begin with some introductions as well, so that way you kind of know who your support system is. So the first thing, like I said, I am one of the lead coaches, Brittany Campbell, here with NICE. You will be seeing me as your facilitator in our live sessions, and then I am also your point of contact for JSU. Your coaches, so half of our cohort will be coached by Christy Chaka, and then half of our cohort will be coached by Jana Carrazzo. Ladies, if you'll just kind of do a quick maybe hi introduction so they can see you on camera, I would appreciate that.
I'm Christy. Hey. I'm Jana.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. With us, we also have a couple of people I just kind of want to get you to know names. So she will not be on the call today, I do not believe, but we have Brandy Caldwell, which is with JSU. We also have Jason Russell. Jason is on the call. Jason, would you mind just giving us a quick introduction as well?
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Jason Russell. I'm a high school teacher. I just finished up the STEM program through NICE back during the summertime. And I'm working with JSU as well. And any questions, Brandy will not be with us today, but any questions that you guys have, prefer, you can just send them to me and then I'll relay those back to her as well. So looking forward to this. Having a cohort is a great thing. I did this without one, and I wish I had one. So any questions you have locally, I can help you with that, hopefully. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Another person from the NICE end of your experience is Brian Whitney. I believe Brian is maybe on the call today, but he's also in the middle of a commute. So I won't ask him to unmute and introduce himself, but just kind of introducing a few names, and then hopefully letting you get a few faces along with those names. So today we have an hour and we're going to work fast and furious with a couple of goals in mind. Our first goal is for you to understand the NCST design. Our second goal is to navigate the NICE portal. And then our third goal will be to work on your very first submission and have it ready to submit with confidence. So we're beginning our day with a little bit of a to-do list, if you will. So we'll first talk a little bit about the NCST design. So NCST is built on an evidence-based framework. So every strategy, every indicator that you work on comes along with a great deal of research. So we do use research-based approaches in everything that we do. Our overall focus is not to change everything about what you're doing in your classroom. but instead to work on daily instructional changes, small changes that lead to overall student learning in the end. How it's designed is you will have 38 indicators. For every indicator, that will equate to a portfolio submission. Our 38 indicators are broken down into 3 different domains. So you'll see the domains listed here on the screen. Domain 1 is the more general indicators. They really focus on setting up the environment for learning. Domain 2 elevates it up a notch, and this is where we bring in our scientific literacy and strategies that we can embed to support that. And then lastly, domain 3, engaging students in scientific and engineering practice. How our program is set up is honestly, you can do or work on your indicators in any order that you choose. You do not have to start with domain 1 and finish with domain 38. You can work on indicators as you see fit in any order that you choose. So there is choice in that. Now, our domains are set up to be scaffolded. So essentially, we would love for you to start more with domain 1 and then build upon it in domain 2 and then build upon it even more in domain 3. So they do build upon each other and they are scaffolded in that way. But really, you can submit your indicators in any order that you choose. Each domain is also broken down into action areas. I mentioned the action areas because this is something for you guys to kind of take a note of. A lot of times you're going to be able to work on more than one indicator at a time. A great strategy would to be possibly break them down by the specific action areas. So just kind of pay attention to that. When we get into the portal, you'll see it a little bit more, but essentially 3 different domains broken down into 15 teacher actions, 38 indicators, and 38 indicators or mini lessons in which you will submit a portfolio for each one. The role of your coach is to review your portfolio submissions and to provide you feedback. We ask that when you're working on your portfolio submissions, especially here at the beginning, instead of submitting 10 portfolio submissions on a Saturday, we would much prefer, especially at the beginning of your journey, to submit 1 submission at a time. What you'll notice through this is that your coach will be able to give you feedback that will construct your future portfolio submissions. I know teachers are pressed for time, and that doesn't mean that you cannot be working on future portfolio submissions. You definitely can be saving your work and getting them ready. But again, we encourage you to focus on 1 indicator at a time, especially at the beginning of your journey, so that way you can take that constructive feedback and apply it to future submissions. The next thing, now we're really going to dive into the portal. So if you would like to, if you are able to log in already, I would encourage you to do so. I'm also going to, again, in just a second, we'll hear again, for people who just joined us, in the chat, I am putting a quick Google form. If you wouldn't mind filling out that Google form for us, we would really appreciate it. And I'm already behind time. This is always how it goes for me. If you'll check out that Google form, we would so appreciate it. But along with that, I am going to ask you if you would like to join me in taking a view of the portal, log into the portal. You should have received an email yesterday from NISE Learning. It could have gone into your junk mail or maybe your spam. If you do not know how to log in and you have not received that email, I'm also going to put in the chat, so again, you'll notice kind of our mantra. I'm going to put a lot of things in the chat before the end of the day. I am going to ask you to just jot your name on this document if you are unable to log in at this time. For today's purposes, you do not have to be logged in when we go through the portal. This will kind of let us know who we need to get in contact with or follow up with after today's session. So now I'm going to kind of show you a preview of the portal. Taking a look at the portal, there are a couple of ways to navigate it. When you first log in, it'll look much like this. There's really two ways to dive in. One way is by clicking on this launch button right here. Another way to dive in is to click on, and this is my favorite way to navigate, the NCST certificate map. No matter which one I click on, it's going to take me to the same screen. So I'm going to click launch. Maybe. No, let me click on certificate map. Wonder why my portal is not working for me. Let me go back. It's taken. There we go. Once I click launch, you'll see it's broken down by our 3 domains that I've already mentioned. For today, we're going to be working in domain 1, action 1, indicator 1. So just to kind of show you how to navigate, what I love to do is I prefer to click expand all, or you can click on one domain at a time. It's completely up to you. So if I would click on domain 1, then I would click on action 1. And then for today, I'm going to be working on indicator 1. You'll notice here that we have a computer screen and then a briefcase. The computer screen is where you are going to do your learning. The learning should come first. And then the portfolio, the briefcase, is where you will do your work to submit to your coach. But you'll always want to start with the learning first. When I click on that computer screen, it's going to pull up some information about indicator 1. You'll see here how you have the circle with the 3 lines. This is to help you navigate through what all we have for you. I encourage you to start with a first look. This kind of breaks it down into a quick snapshot of what's to come. Sometimes it may have you watch a video. Sometimes it might have you read a quick article, but you'll take a look at that. From there, you can either arrow forward or use the drop-down menu. In my opinion, the what learn is the most important section. It focuses on the content relevant to that indicator. You'll see here you can click, and as you keep peeling back the layers, again, it's much like an onion. As you keep peeling back the layers, you'll learn more and more and more. Then you can even get to the piece where you have an assessment at the end, where you demonstrate your understanding. So it's going to ask you, like, are you ready? Here's some places that you can go for some more information. Once you feel proficient in that content, that's when you'll begin your work, and you can go to the portfolio to begin what you're working on. You'll notice here I clicked on the portfolio. There's several, again, avenues where you can go for more information. Here's the readiness assessment. Again, this kind of read through it. If you feel good, you're good to go. Then it starts breaking it down for you to prepare for your portfolio submission. Once you get all the way down here, you'll see your collecting evidence document for this indicator can also be found. Notice we have it in 2 versions. We have it in an editable version or just a plain printable version. What I emailed to you all was an editable version, and I asked you to print it for today. For today's indicator, it really makes sense to have a printed copy so that way you can draw on it because it is drawing a classroom setup. If you did not access that before today's session, I am going to drop it in the chat again so that way you can kind of take a look at it. So that way you have it for you, or you can download it right there in your portal. Another thing just to show you before we dive into some breakout rooms and do some actual work today is this. I wanted to show you a couple of other features, especially this video library. Notice if you click on the video library, let's say you aren't incorporating this topic into your classroom at the moment, and you just need to be able to watch an easy observation to submit your portfolio indicator. We have everything. It's kind of a one-stop shop all in our portal for you. You can sort it by action as well as you can sort it by indicator. You can also sort it by grade level. So this is a great resource for you for collecting some evidence. Another piece to show you is this collecting evidence library. If you click on it here, it'll pull up a PDF of every single collecting evidence document all in one large PDF. For many people, a lot of most people that I've talked to that came through the program, they really enjoyed printing out their collecting evidence documents like I did when I came through the program. I actually printed out all of them and put them in a binder. And then whenever I was ready to go to an observation, I had what I needed. So that's just to kind of show you the overall setup of the portfolio and what there is for you in the portal. I'm going to jump back now to our slides. And what we're going to do next is actually work on indicator 1. So with your coach, we're going to ask you to join a breakout room. If you don't know who your coach is, in just a minute, I'll be able to show you. But if you do know who your coach is, it'll be maybe a little bit easier. So if you're with Christy Chaka, you will be going to room 1. It should have been noted in your email from us yesterday who your coach was. As well as if you have Jana Carrazzo, you will be in breakout room 2. I will hang out in the main room just to answer any questions or help you get into your breakout room. I haven't opened the breakout rooms just yet, but kind of as you are heading to your breakout room, then things to be getting ready are collecting your evidence document and logging into that platform if you can. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the breakout rooms now. I'm going to rename them just to make it even easier. So we're going to have one that's going to be called Christy. That's breakout room 1. Breakout room 2 is going to be Jana. If you know who your coach is already, you can go ahead and go there to your room now. I'm opening them now. It says in progress. It may take it just a minute. So it looks like it's open. If you don't know who your coach is, I did just get a report. It's not the best list because it's not as organized as I would prefer it to be. But I will scroll through this list and you'll be able to see who your coach is. So again, if you are with Christy, you'll be making your way to her room. If you are with Jana, you'll be making your way to her room. I'm going to keep scrolling down. Give everybody a chance to kind of see the list. And then feel free to join your breakout room when you know where you're headed. If you're not on the
Excuse me,
list,
Brittany. Yeah.
if you're not on the list for now, we're still processing you. So if you just want to join either one for today, that would be completely fine. It's the same content. So if you're not on the list, feel free to join any one. If you're not sure how to join a breakout room and you need help with that, say, hey, will you help me join my room and I can send you to your room.
Brittany,
Yes.
this is Rhonda Mack. My name is not on the list, but I'm not in the JSU. I had paid already before this cohort started.
Right. And do you know who your coach is?
No, I haven't. I mean, I had paid already, but I haven't started working on it yet.
Right.
So I received an email. I mean, I can go back to my email where she introduced herself.
Was it Beverly?
I'm logging in and look, I can't remember.
And for today's purposes, it might, you could really go to any room.
Okay.
Any room will be able to help you.
Okay.
Gina, I'm going to assign you to Christy. Sheila, I'm going to assign you to Jana. She's your coach. Marty, I'm also going to assign you to Jana because she is your coach.
Hey, Brittany,
Yes.
when you get a chance, can you enable screen share for me?
Yes.
I was like, I was going to share my screen. Hang on. I don't know how to. And then I was like, oh, wait, I can leave the breakout room.
Yes. Let me work on that. Sorry about that.
No worries. I'll head back over. That way they're not alone.
Thank you. It
Yeah.
should be fixed. Brandy, are you on here? Do you know where you need to go?
No, I haven't seen an invite for to join one of the breakout rooms or the document to print, and I don't have access to the portal yet.
So for now, I'm just going to send you, I'm kind of making myself a note. I'm going to send you to Jana.
Okay. And if it changes later, that's no problem.
Michelle, are you there with me?
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't see you on the list either, and I know you said to send. Let me add in here the link real quick.
I appreciate it. I'm sorry for the confusion. I sent an email Monday that I mailed a check, but I live a little farther than other people. And so, I mean, they may not have gotten it yet, but I got an email yesterday saying, please join us if you're going to. And I was like, oh, I already messaged. And so I don't know. I'm doing things wrong, obviously.
No, hey, Michelle, I can see, I've got a list of the paid people and I just marked you here just a second ago. So it looks like they've gotten it from you.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much for your
Yep.
help.
Absolutely.
So, and I just put in the chat to you the document so you can access it. And then for now, I'm just going to have you go to Christy's room. I'm not sure who your coach will be, but like I said, for today's purposes, we're learning the same things.
Oh, that's great. And I just clicked on the link and it says that I need access.
Okay, let me fix that.
Yes, no, I'm sorry. I'm like, this is such a pain. And I was driving in the beginning. So I was listening, just on my phone, and I switched devices when I got home. So those initial documents you were asking us to join is so funny. My 15-year-old's holding my phone and he's like, "So you gonna fill that survey out?" And I'm like, "Well, not while I'm driving, am I?"
And I will definitely, like at the end today, I will also show that again. So then
Okay, I so
we'll put it in
appreciate
there.
that. And you said today to go to Christie's or Jana's? I'm sorry.
Go to Christie's for
Okay,
now.
I will try to do that. I've not done this on my own, so let me give it a shot. If I'm still here in a moment,
I will
you-
send you.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Hey, Brittany,
Yes.
this is Brandy Glenn. I still didn't get the printable document, the link for that, or an invite to go to one of the breakout rooms. And if you assigned it to me, it didn't push me. The only option I have is to leave the meeting.
I'm working on it now.
Oh, okay. No problem.
I thought I had done it, but again, sometimes
You're good. No problem. I was just making sure. I'm pretty good with breakout rooms, and I was just making sure I wasn't missing something. Thank you.
You're welcome. There you go.
So it looks like possibly Altman, I think is correct, is the last
Yeah,
name. Is the
but
other
I
one?
see somebody down here on my list also that says Maltman.
Yeah, and I
I
think
think
it,
they might be in the meeting twice.
gotcha. Yeah. I've got him at Michael Altman is the name I've got on here.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Michael, and that's why I have my list up here too. And see, the other M. Altman is in Christie's room, which I have Christy as being his coach. So I think he's in the right place.
Okay, good. All right. I think I'm going to jump in there just so I can see, and that way if I get any questions, I'll know.
Awesome. After today, once I have time to process, I will
Yeah.
put all the documents in one place and send out everything along with a video.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
What did they say? Recording in progress. Okay. This person was gaining skills as far as accessibility and then the safety of the classroom, they were proficient. So if I was to gather this all together, we're going to go with, again, the lower rating, the gaining skills, because they can always work up the ladder. So we gave this teacher a gaining skills with when it comes to this indicator. So one thing that you also need to, one thing that I send a lot of submissions back for is that they're not, the candidate doesn't focus on just that indicator. So if you are observing a class and you notice that students,
Like, I don't need anything. I know some people like to include physical pictures of their room. You can, but again, you do not have to. If you would like to show me your room, again, I love to see people's rooms, and I might steal some of your decorating ideas. So, but don't feel like you have to include pictures. It can just be a quick drawing, okay? So for this part, you are just drawing what your classroom setup looks like. So if you have desks, how are those desks arranged? Are they in rows? Are they in pods? Do you have tables? Are the tables singular? Are they in rows? Are they in pods? So you're just kind of doing a quick draw out of what your room is, okay? And then you are looking at these 3 things with the room. Is it orderly? And you read these statements. So what I usually do is I start at the novice and I work my way up. So I read and I say, okay, teacher is responsible for ensuring that all materials are returned to their appropriate location. Classroom is disorganized and cluttered. And I look at my room and I say, is that my room? Yes or no? If it is, then I check or circle that box. If it's not my room, then I'm going to move up to gaining skill. And I read that. Is that what I saw? Is that what I'm looking at? Yes or no? Which, me personally, that is the room I'm looking at right now. I have a gaining skill classroom right now.
Listening to why they should score. So then the next section, and I'm going to give you a chance on your own to add to that page in just a second. So then the next section is going to be your make recommendations. So this is the part where really you're going to show your learning and learning outcome for this indicator. And you're going to make a suggestion on what you think this teacher can do to improve and move up the row model, up to the row model, either to proficient or to row model. So if we go back to our indicator, what is it, rubric rating. Okay, so we're right here at gaining skills. We want to give this teacher a suggestion on how she can either move up to proficient or even be a role model in there. And as you can see, one of them is working collaboratively in selecting the materials, and then the other one is being varied with self-selected materials. So if I'm going to give a recommendation to this teacher, my recommendation is going to have something to do with obviously students having more choice in what they select. So a good example for that would be to move this teacher to the rubric rating of proficient. I would recommend the teacher give the students a choice of materials and equipment they can use for the lesson and each day. Perhaps the teacher can put the materials list for students and select and choose their items, or create an area for materials equipment where students can always use. The teacher could even let the students offer their own suggestions for materials. So we are trying to move that teacher up to a role model level. Now, sometimes you're going to view a teacher that is role model, that you're like, man, they were on it. Like, they kept academic focus 100% of the time. I can't really think of anything to recommend. We still want to try to give them a recommendation. Either we would say, okay, well, we want to extend this teacher's knowledge beyond the classroom, and maybe they can host a professional, a class in the professional learning community, or maybe they can have other teachers come in and observe how they are handling this engineering design process. But there's always a way that we can refine our craft, that growth mindset we always talk about. Okay, so, and then again, you can add additional suggestions if you want to. Also, at the end, you can add different pictures. Sometimes they'll upload the lesson that they did. They'll upload pictures to show me what the students are looking like, or like if you're talking about the physical layout of the room, which would be indicator 2, they might take a picture just to further strengthen their submission. And then from there, you can either save it and it'll save just like you saw that ours was saved, or you can submit it. If you do have a submission sent back, I will have comments in the section in which you do not have to redo the entire portfolio. you will have comments in your portfolio on where, where you might need to add evidence or a suggestion. But like I said, most likely I send it back because the evidence is not clear or the suggestion does not align with that indicator. So, so we have, I think, about 7 minutes. So I'm going to give you some time, and we're going to add on to this, this document. And I want you to go ahead and you're going to add your name. So this is just an example. This is we used Susie Stem. That was our example that we just went through. We gave her a gaining skills. And then I would like you, if you're doing your own observation, just come up with what you would rate your classroom as far as the rubric goes. And you can click there for
Okay. So you want, so if that is, but I also allow them to have some access to things. So maybe I'm going to read the gaining skill. Let's see what that one says. And again, if you're like, okay, that sounds like my room, or that sounds like the room I saw, all you do is check the little box underneath. So the gaining skill is actually 100% my classroom right now. So I would check that box. Okay. So you're just picking one that you're like, that is the room I saw. That's the evidence I witnessed. And then down here is where you're going to provide your evidence and your reasoning. So this is the E and the R of the CER, okay? So you're gonna say, what evidence did you see that supports that ranking? And what's your reasoning on why you think it supports that ranking, okay? So an example of what that could look like, okay? So let me zoom out here. Clearly I need to update my Google Chrome here. I'm slacking. It's mostly because I don't ever X out of it. Okay, so the evidence part. I chose gaining skill because the teacher pre-selected the supplies for the lesson, which is what I normally do. Students have access to the supplies they need for the lesson. So for my room, any of the lessons you could pick right now, I teach 5 different classes. I select all the stuff for them, and then they have free reign over just that selection. And then, however, they are not given choice or a voice in the materials or equipment they use. Again, that is me, because that is what I have in my room right now. Okay. Does that make sense? So I didn't talk about things on my walls. I didn't talk about, you know, the lesson and if it was teacher directed or anything. You just want to focus on this specific indicator. So this specific verbiage. Okay. And I'm actually going to share this with you because what I would like, so I'm gonna put this in the chat. And everyone who said that they did not get an email from me, I'm going to look into that and see what happened. Maybe I need to fix something. So if you didn't get my welcome email, I'll figure out what happened to it. So this doc that I just shared with you is what I'm looking at right here. And it will have, it's where you can actually, you're going to type your name. You're going to pick the ranking of the teacher that, of the class that you're looking at. Okay, so for me, like I said, I put Jana and I am gaining skill. And this would be where I type my answer. So I would say I chose gaining skill because I as the teacher, select the supplies for my STEM, for my plate and space, for my intro to STEM class. And they only get to choose within that selection. And that supports gaining skill because the students don't have full choice. Okay, so something like that. So what I want you to do is you're going to put in your information, okay, what you would put in your portfolio submission. And over the next 24 hours, I am going to provide you with some feedback. So I'm going to say, hey, don't forget to add your reasoning. Or, hey, this is beautiful. I love this. It supports the ranking of proficient, or it supports the ranking of role model. Okay, so I'll give you some feedback before you submit. That way you feel confident turning in that first indicator, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right, so again, that's where you guys can start typing that stuff in. And then what you'll be able to do is whenever I give you the feedback in the next day, you can copy and paste it from here. So like if this is what you wanted to use, I'd copy it. I'd be in my portal and I'd paste it right in. Ta-da, that part's done. Okay.
I think someone just jumped in our. Is that Brittany? Hey, Brittany.
Hey, how's it going?
They're happening. And they're looking good too. They're doing
I
good.
know. I just clicked from Jana to y'all's and I was like, oh my gosh, like they're making a lot of headway. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. This is good.
I'm like the creeper that's like reading what you're writing and you don't even know about it. But no, it's
You're
looking
also the creeper. They're looking real good. But like I said, the really important thing is that it all aligns. Even if you're doing a classroom observation and you're like, this teacher really needs to have some more positive teacher-student interactions. Well, if you're on an indicator based on like the physical space, indicator 2, that wouldn't be the most appropriate suggestion. Now, I would save that suggestion to indicator 4 when we talk about student and teacher interactions, but just make sure it all aligns. That's probably one of the most, I send back the submissions the most is because
So did you come back into the main room too?
Yes, I did.
So what are your thoughts? How do you think it's
I
going?
thought it was good. I felt like she did a really good job.